Welcome into the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 78.
Yeah, man.
Oh, hi, Neil.
Oh, hi, Neil.
Do people watch our Twitter opens?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, our animation videos?
Yeah.
People love the animation videos. Those of you who don't watch, you got to start watching because it kind of sets the tone and it gives you the theme of a big portion of what the interview is all about.
And we looked apart, too, and, you know, the hair is either flowing in the wind or we don't have much of it, or I got a jersey on with a C, or...
Did you ever have long hair?
Yeah. Yeah. I grew
really?
it out. I didn't have the...
You say it so confidently. Like how
no,
long was it?
Well, it didn't look good because I don't have great hair, and I blame my dad and my grandfather for that, I guess. But, you know, you can't have every gene right, Andy. So the point is, I tried to grow it out, and it looked okay, but once you get in a fight and you start losing it, and then your helmet would fall off, you're like, ooh, shit. Don't lose your helmet. Not because you don't want to get corked in the back of the head, because your bald spot's showing. That's what I worried about more than anything. Who cares about getting punched? I don't want my bald spot showing, Andy. I got a sponsor for that now, but
yeah, you
whatever.
do.
Yeah,
you do. And that's working well for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it absolutely has. Yeah.
Did you have the actual procedure?
Yeah.
Like where
damn right.
They put like needles in your head?
Yes.
How bad did that hurt?
It wasn't bad.
Like Joe Buck like lose his voice or something?
Yeah, well, that was old. Dude, that was 20 years ago when he did it. This is all new shit. And so, yeah, no, I did it in a day. I watched like a movie during the time, and there's a bunch of nurses. And
What are you watching?
Legends of the Fall with Brad Pitt. Oh, my word, his hair in that movie. Oh, God. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't give a shit about this pain. You know why? Because I'm going to look like Tristan off of Legends of the Fall. And I do now, Andy.
No, you don't.
That's why we're making money.
So how bad did it hurt?
It wasn't bad.
No, be honest.
It wasn't bad. The procedure when they have to infuse your so it's called PRP, platelet-rich plasma treatment.
Okay, no. That's like
You're asking me questions and I'm answering them. So you tell me how I got my hair brown. I'll tell you. PRP, platelet. You do it when you're an athlete.
You
too.
do.
Yeah.
They spin your blood.
They take your blood
cells and spin it.
Yeah,
right?
and get the
then
nutrients
they
or
inject
something.
it into like the injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you does it for your hair. You do it for your shoulder.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's actually very interesting.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't put you out.
No.
Do you have the option?
No, they gave me like a sedative. Nothing bad. No opioid or any of that shit. And I just sat there like, oh. I fell asleep one time. Again, I'm watching movie. They're sweet to me. Very, very sweet. Very gentle. And I love them all. Actually, Ray Burley's wife works there. Hans Wyman.
Get out of here.
Ray Burley, the trainer for the St. Louis
Was
Blues.
she helping you during your surgery?
Yes. I'm trying to make them laugh the whole time. I'm trying to entertain. You know how I do it. Like, they were awesome. You're there for 4 hours, and it was just, it was cool. It was cool.
Dude,
and it works.
The weather is getting, like, it's so nice out.
It's so nice out.
We're in the Stanley Cup final right now. Yeah. What do you think of this whole schedule? Like, where we are this time of year, having the Stanley Cup final in October. Is this making you confused? Some people are suggesting this should be the norm moving forward.
Everything's been so abnormal feels like forever that I don't give a shit. I'm making a fire tonight. Kate and I are gonna open a bottle of wine. We're gonna watch a Stanley Cup final. I wish that we could have recorded this tomorrow, but we can't. We got to get Scotty Bowman out. Who was Scotty? He was a coach, right?
Oh, you never heard of him?
No, never heard of him.
Yeah, he was a good coach too. But you know, that's why this is kind of a little bit uncomfortable. Because we should be breaking down whether or not Tampa Bay wins the Stanley Cup or if there's going to be a Game 7. So we apologize.
Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry to everybody. Sorry to everybody.
Sorry about that.
But who do you think is going to win?
Fucking Tampa. Why are we doing this? This is so horrible.
You think Tampa will win?
Yeah, Patty will get it. Yeah.
Tampa Bay, they've got some...
we can't dig too much into this.
No, but they've got some serious cap issues, though, man. And people who have been paying attention certainly know that. You like that Sergachev?
Fucking A. Guy walks in line like, what's up? What's up? What's up? Oh, I'll find the lane. Zip. I like that.
Yeah. He doesn't do it as well as Klingberg on the other side.
Oh, my God, that motherfucker. I mean, oh, my God. Like, walking the line, like, I can't cross over fast enough to block that shot.
Hockey people are so messed up, though. Like, over the years, you hear so many people tell me everything that Klingberg can't do. Oh, he can't defend, can't do this, can't do that. Not good as that. Like,
get
what?
Out of here.
Like, get out of here.
That dude's...
Like, every GM in the league is raising their hand. Can you come play for me? We'll take Klingberg.
He's playing 30 a night.
Unbelievable. And he looks like a...
His stride. Now, he'll turn a puck over once in a while, but who doesn't?
No, but look at him. He's got no teeth.
No, dude, he just like takes
sick flow.
He takes 2 strides. He'll open his 10-2 up, and he's like, he's past you. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna pivot, and I'm gonna walk the line.
Does he ever get a shot blocked?
Not much, because you have to. You know the drill that you do in hockey when you're a kid? Mm-hmm. Actually, not even when you're a kid. When you're playing junior, anywhere, where you all go to the dot, and you do the cross, where you go blah blah blah, and then you backpedal like blah 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 blah, and then sidestep blah 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 blah. That's what you're doing when Klimper's walking the line. Like, he'll stop and he'll move forward and he'll stop and move back, and you're like, oh my God, these are the crosses that I had to do when we got our asses kicked 9-3 the night before.
Yeah, no man, he's. Sometimes you just really kind of fall in love with players a little bit during the playoffs. And then his post-game news conferences, man, he's got like no teeth.
Yeah, fucking looks badass.
Oh my God,
like a Viking or something back in the day.
In Tampa Bay, everybody's asking Tampa Bay like how Steven Stamkos has impacted the Stanley Cup final. Like, listen, I get he's the captain, he's a great player, and he scored a goal, played like 2 minutes and 45 seconds, something like that, and he scores, which is pretty sick.
It was a big goal too. That turned the tide in that game, I think.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, like, you're asking Kevin Shattenkirk what kind of impact Kevin's been there for 1 year. Like, I don't know. These guys. What do you want them to say?
Because that's the big
What do you
story.
want them to say?
It's something that they could write about.
I feel bad for a guy like Stamkos, though, man. Like, he's been such a big part of that franchise for so long.
He's going to win a cup.
But to see them be in this position and
he's not but
he's not healthy enough to be out there.
Well, get healthy,
dude.
I shouldn't say that. Okay, well, kind of get healthy, stay healthy. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. You've grinded and grinded. You're gonna get your name on the cup. You scored a goal in the finals. You're good to go. Like, you played enough games this year. You are legit more than anybody. You're not a guy like, I don't want to put anybody on it, but like a guy that just got traded to somewhere and then didn't even play a game, but you celebrate. No, you've been part of this for years and years. You're a leader. No. You deserve every second.
But you can tell, like, especially if you know certain players, how they're just like, dude, you guys stop asking me. I don't know what else to say. Why
ask me the petty?
Of course we love
like,
Steven
how about
Stamkos, man. I don't know how he's impacting the games. He's not playing.
How about, like, how are we defending all these power plays?
Right.
Or how are we doing
for Dallas?
For Dallas? How we I don't know. Like, there's a million questions. Ask me anything. Like, Stammer, yeah. Oh, yeah. He played 4 games ago. Okay, yeah, fine. It's like, what happened now?
I like this Rick Bowness though, because he's kind of
old
old school.
Shit out of his son so
Did
bad.
You?
Oh my God.
He was tough back in the day when he played.
His daddy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not Ryan Bowness.
No,
daddy. Yeah,
Rick Bowness.
Yeah.
So where was Ryan Bowness playing?
He was playing for Brampton. It was so funny. He was playing for Brampton, and he need my roommate.
Was he a tough guy or no?
He was big. I don't know. If you're big in juniors, like, okay, you should be tough anyway. So he need Bowman, my roommate.
Scotty Bowman?
No.
Scotty Bowman's son?
No. But we called him Bo.
Stan Bowman?
Awesome guy. And I'm like, I'm gonna. It's on YouTube. It's hilarious. And I pumped him pretty good. Then I did like the steroid flex in front of him, in front of his bench too, which is very, very rude.
What's the steroid flex?
I beat him up and I go, Wah! Right in front of their bench, and their bench like,
were you doing steroids or something? Or
no, but I look like I did. 100%.
People who know Cam, like, they tell me mutual friend that we have who coached you when you were a kid, who I've known forever, in Donnie Morehouse. He says Cam looked the exact same that he looks now back when he was like 11 years old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Were you bigger than everybody else back then?
Not taller. I was never taller than anybody, but I was, thick and strong. Yeah, for sure.
Did you know that?
God, yeah.
Did you know?
My dad implemented that into my soul. My dad was like, you are so strong, you play like it. And I'm like, okay. He's like, you are so strong. I'm like, he's like, you're stronger than him. You're stronger than him. Just play. And I'm like, okay, you're right, I am. You're right, but you can only do that with certain people. But it worked for me. You can only pump somebody up so much. But if I didn't play with intensity, he'd be like, "What are you doing?" Like, that's the only time you get mad at me. Only time.
So listen, Rick Bowness was asked the other day, or maybe it was like today. I don't know which day it was, but what are you going to miss the most about living in the bubble? And he said, absolutely nothing.
Dude, you shitting me. Why would you?
He's like, get me out of here.
Fuck out of this dump. Sorry.
Listen, I tweeted this the other day that this is.
They did a right thing with it.
What the NHL has been able to do has been absolutely incredible.
I don't mean to be such a dick.
No, we doubted them. I was one of the first ones to say this will never happen.
How can you not think that way?
And for them to be able to pull it off.
Exactly.
What does this mean for Gary Bettman's legacy? I started thinking about this, man. When you think back on Gary Bettman, 20 years down the road from now, this is going to be one of the first things you think about. Everyone wants to trash this guy and whatever.
Always.
Like,
Because it's like the trendy thing to do.
I know. I get along with Gary. Gary's always been nice. And, I don't know.
I just
don't get so
man.
worked up as much as everybody else does on stuff that he's done, where even if you listen to Alan Walsh, who came on with us, like, he's not making every decision, man. He's kind of the PR guy for the owners, according to Alan Walsh. I think he's more than that. But again, it's not just his decision. But, dude, what he's done to grow the game, and then whenever there's serious adversity, he finds a way to do what they're doing now, where they've been the leader among all sports in terms of handling their business over the course of the pandemic. This is going to go down as one of the biggest parts of his legacy.
One of the biggest accomplishments in hockey history.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Yeah.
This is one of the biggest accomplishments in hockey history. And has there been one fuck up? Like, think about it. Has there been major? Because there might be a little petty things that maybe the PR had to deal with, or maybe as far as maybe the camera crew.
They've done a good job of sweeping it under the rug, man.
Whatever they did, they stayed. No guys try to wheel fucking broad in a hockey bag. They might have, but we don't know.
Man.
So who cares?
They keep it quiet.
Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? It's about the public.
And I think that's the hockey way.
Damn,
hey,
dude.
Even if somebody died, we're not going to make a big deal out of it. We're not going to bring negative attention onto ourselves. We're not going to sit here and say that it happened. But you know as well as I do, Cam, I'm sure they've had a few little dust-ups where maybe something has maybe crossed the line a little bit, but they've been able to find a way to handle it and wrap their arms around it.
Like every other league, even the NBA, there's some little shady shit going on. Not bad, but...
That one dude left for chicken wings.
Yeah,
what was that? Magic Wings or something like that.
Oh, we had a strip club.
Magic City Wings.
Really,
what's the place called?
Food
you said you've been there before.
Bullshit. I don't go to strip clubs. I told you that.
No,
I stopped doing that when I was like 20 because it's a pain in the ass. You got to wait all night if you want to. Don't make me say something stupid. But the point is, the guy's been pretty damn good, man. And that not one fuck up. No one got caught doing anything. No weird fight or no anything. Good for you. Think about that. Gary Bettman, to the boys, to the trainers, to the organizations. The cup it will probably be won tonight, in my opinion. I think that they're going to win. I think Tampa's going to win. They're a better team, in my opinion.
Oh, you're putting that out there.
I don't know.
I think we'll see a game 7.
Do you take me seriously? Don't. Okay. Like I know.
Insider Cam.
Fuck Insider Cam. Like I fucking know. Like I care to know.
Well, it's going to be one way or another. Either we're going to have a game 7 or we're going to crown a Stanley Cup champion.
So whatever. But the guys, man, good for you. All you.
Did you play with Shaddy?
Yeah. Damn right.
How many years?
A year.
Just 1 year?
Great guy.
Dude,
I played with Stewie too.
One of the best, dude?
He's a sweetheart.
Some people you just feel happy for, man, because he and I have always kept in touch. He's dealt with injuries, the whole buyout, like going back to his hometown, not accepting a trade to go to Tampa Bay years ago, where he would have been making big time money. They would have been in further salary cap hell than where they are right now. And then he still found his way to Tampa Bay on a 1-year deal and may end up winning the Stanley Cup. He's truly one of the good guys, man.
Very much so. Awesome guy. Never complains. Always just like, hey, man, it's like this happy guy. Just smart, great player. Probably going to win a cup. I keep saying probably. God damn it.
Stop saying that.
Sorry.
I want to give a shout out to Chris Stewart, though.
Yeah, me too.
We've had on here. Obviously, a guy who you played with. My old neighbor back in the day.
Oh, yeah?
In Dogtown.
Was he from the poor part of Ladue, too?
No, I was back when I was living in Dogtown.
Oh,
and he lived in Dogtown,
fuck
too.
He living in Dogtown.
Dude, we lived like a new development in Dogtown. It was nice. And
Stewie got the fuck out of there.
Great area of town, dude. He doesn't care. He's from Scarborough, dude. He's old school,
exactly.
Man.
Yeah, when you start making money, you don't want to be in Scarborough.
Dude, but it was nice, dude. Everyone in this little development, it's a super nice part of town, close to downtown, 5 minutes from Clayton, dude. Sick, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but they had a bunch of newer houses, and he lived in one of them. And I'm just happy for a guy like him. Like, you think about his. Everything he had to endure as a kid.
Yeah.
His mom passing away and all that type of stuff.
Yep.
Quitting hockey, not knowing if he was going to get back and play hockey. Yep. People buying equipment and skates for he and his brother. They both end up being first-round picks. It's kind of crazy.
Big time crazy.
Good
for him, man. He's a good dude, too. Big time.
And he played almost 700 games.
He just got a job with Philly, too.
As player development. Yeah. Would you want to do that?
Hell yeah, player development.
Yeah.
Now, if they wanted me to go to Des Moines, Iowa, watch a game to do that, but I rather do a podcast. You know, I rather do.
But you know what? He's a guy who will be good in that, like, because he's great with the young kids.
That's what I mean. If you want me to go into a locker room and go on the ice with the young kids, like, hey, this is what you gotta do. Get the puck off the wall this way. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah.
No,
but
it brings
don't make me go
real quiet
scout.
leadership.
Yeah.
I remember Peter Stastny telling me, like, before the trade, he was so pissed off when the Blues traded Eric Johnson to Colorado. Remember, he went crazy.
I remember that.
and the trade really was, you know, EJ for Stewie, and Kevin Shattenkirk was considered a throw-in, and Shatty ended up being here longer, and you know, obviously having a great career too. But you know, when that trade was made, I remember Peter Stastny being like, you know, Stewie's like, you know, he was in line to be like a future captain in Colorado. Like, he was on the rise, dude, for his career.
He slowed down a little bit in St. Louis.
He did.
But, God, he played 700 games. Like, good for you, man. Good guy. Came on the podcast. Good for you. Enjoy your retirement, bro.
I want to say one other thing here before we get to Scotty Bowman. Okay, so I'm still confused a little bit, like, about this feature that was on TSN about painkillers and all this type of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't about painkillers. It was about doing whatever you got to do. The teams and doctors feeling pressure from teams to get players back on the ice, and players feeling pressure to feel like they've got to get back on the ice as quick as possible and do whatever you can to get back on the ice. And if that means taking an injection, you do it to get back on the ice. Although I think most players, when they're hurt, they're probably saying, hey, shoot me up, get me back on the ice as quick as possible. Not everybody.
But it depends on the injury, man.
Yeah, it depends on the injury. But, you know, there's been a lot of people who were critical of that, you know, the NHL putting out that video showing guys sacrificing and whatever, trying to win a cup. This is gross and all this type of stuff. The same guys, like, I'm seeing this Sekera kid, the defenseman, not a kid, but defenseman from Dallas, blocks a shot, leaves, comes back. When he came back to the game and he was on the bench, the same guys are celebrating the fact that he's returned to the game.
Walshy?
Well,
is that his agent?
It must be, yeah, because he wouldn't.
But Walshy also said
Alan Walsh wouldn't tweet about him if he wasn't his agent or if he wasn't his client.
Yeah.
But
didn't Walshy tweet about?
Yeah, so he was like saying, "Hey, the video was gross and all this type of stuff." But he wasn't the only one. I'm not trying to single him out.
Yeah,
You're bringing him up.
Jump on that.
But
category.
then he's saying, "Hey, look, he's back on the bench." So now we're celebrating him as being tough. Like, how does this work when all of a sudden you get to the negotiating table? You're sitting, you know, across from a GM. You're going toe to toe with a GM, trying to get a deal done, and you're like, "Hey, this guy doesn't miss games. This guy's always in the lineup for you. This guy sacrifices. He blocks shots. Look how many block shots he has. Yeah. He's third in the league in block shots over the course of the last 5 years. Whatever it is." It's like I feel like we're kind of speaking out of both sides of our mouths here in terms of what the actual issue is at hand. And I think it's probably confusing a lot of people. I don't think everyone catches on to it, though.
Well, how about this? If you're an agent and you're negotiating a contract with a guy that you need to bring in different intangibles in there, then say this to him. Like, no, I want less money for him because I don't want him blocking shots anymore. I don't want him taking Toradol. Whenever he gets in the lane, I want you to hold up a little bit in Flamingo.
Yes.
So I want, instead of 4.8, I want 2.2 because I don't want him because I care about his health.
Right.
Do that.
And if he's
and
injured,
then I'll take it seriously.
If he's injured, I don't want him.
I don't want him playing
back on the ice. I don't want him coming back to the game. So I'd rather him just go home.
Here's another thing.
And not play.
No, here's another thing. When the D-man goes in the corner to get the puck, I don't want him taking a hit. So let the other team get the puck. Okay? Let the other team get the puck. What does that mean? Okay, another $1 million off? Okay, fine. So now you're going to make minimum wage on a guy that makes 4.5. But that's fine because he's not going to be hurt.
Dude, the guy was hurt. He blocks a shot, leaves the game. Now it's like, he's back.
Yeah.
Well, how the hell you think? How did he get back?
You know, here's another thing.
How did he get back?
How about I don't want my player. I don't want my client to play because you're going to get hurt anyway. What if you trip and fall over the boards? So don't pay me anything, and I'll have my client just not play hockey anymore, and you'll be fine. That's what you should do.
And I'm not encouraging that guys go get injections and get shot up to come back and play.
Just if you can't play, then don't play.
Players all the time. But listen, if you can't play,
then don't play.
Don't take the damn injection.
Don't take it.
Say no.
Say no. I never took an injection, but I'm the fourth line plug. But you know what? If you can't go, you can't go. But as an agent, don't bitch about it. And be like, I am a virtue signaling. Look, people don't like this video. I'm going to be on that. Hey, how about this guy? He just blocks shots. I'm going to get some coin out of that. I tell you, the intangibles in this contract are really going to be.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Right.
Don't play. Don't block shots. Don't go into the corner. Get away from that black thing because that thing hurts you more than anything. Watch out for the stick.
Let's start playing with a Nerf puck.
Yes,
I want a Nerf puck.
Do.
We need a Nerf puck.
You ain't making money, homeboy, if that's what you want.
So I don't know if that's exactly what they're saying, but it just
Marc-Andre Fleury, don't block it. Don't even hit it off your head.
No.
What if it hits your head?
Let it go in.
What if it hits your head? Let it go in.
Let it go in.
You'll be fine, dude. You'll sign an 8-year deal after this.
So anyway,
don't chirp, man.
I don't know, man. Let's just not totally crush the history of the game and what makes winning the Stanley Cup the greatest trophy in the
Pain
in
will
all
always
sports.
be a part of hockey. If pain is not part of hockey, hockey's not hockey. It's how you deal with the pain. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? I've had surgeries without taking painkillers. I've done it all without taking painkillers. It works. You could suck it up and you can do it.
You had surgery without a painkiller? Were you awake?
Damn right, I was awake. I was watching them. They're digging out my scars on my leg right here when they opened up and I got MRSA, that bacteria. My leg blew up and they would have cut my damn leg off. It was back in the 1800s.
You had no painkillers.
No.
And they kept you awake.
Yeah,
and
they dug it out. Kate was right next to me.
And they dug into your knee?
Damn right, man. I was on Suboxone.
Was that more painful than your hair injections you had?
Oh, you don't know. I was on Suboxone, so I couldn't take it because I go right into withdrawal. So, yeah.
Really?
All you motherfuckers, just know that. You could deal with the pain. You can. I'm telling you. Some things are.
But you're
harder
not encouraging that teams just shoot guys up
no,
left and right.
Don't shoot that shit up. You fucking look at. You'd be pissing out of your ass, and that's not even an opioid. I don't think. That just messes up your liver and shit.
But we're celebrating guys being in pain for when I don't even know what you're saying. Then you're talking about a guy blocking a shot at the end of the game.
Tell your clients as an agency,
don't block shots.
Don't block shots. Stay away from the puck. Don't take hits.
And play ball hockey.
Play ball hockey, baby. You're taking a shit ton of money in ball hockey. Fuck out of here.
All right, Scotty Bowman. Dude, we had to get Scotty on.
Damn right.
He's 87 years old. I mean, you talk about the Mount Rushmore of coaches. He definitely is on there. And you talk about the Mount Rushmore of Stanley Cup winners. He's on there. All these great Montreal Canadian teams. People forget he coached those teams too as a young guy. He came here to St. Louis at first coach they ever had. In the late 60s and took them to 3 consecutive Stanley Cup final. This guy is legit, dude. He's so good he could just pick and choose where he wanted to go. He's they're not very good, I'm not going there.
Yeah. No, but they also didn't give him a GM job either on every occasion, I feel like, which is kind of disrespectful.
What do you mean they didn't?
Well, the reason why he left is because he wanted to get the GM job and coach. Right? And so they're no, we're going to do that. So he's okay, I'll go to Buffalo. I want to do the same thing. I'm going to fucking Detroit. Blah, 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 blah.
But man,
or am I wrong on that?
I don't even know what you're saying. But
well, do your goddamn homework. We'll
have to listen to the interview, and then we'll find out. Does he talk about that in the interview?
I don't know. I kind of want to know what's going on down in Florida. What do you do for a living? What do you? I already heard all your interviews.
For a living,
right now. What are you doing all day? Do you enjoy yourself? Do you wear a suit everywhere you go? Are you in pajamas? What do you fucking do?
You just breaking it down.
Do you have a butler that cooks you shit all day? What do you got going, man?
It's a pretty simple guy, man.
I know, but I want to know about that.
Even a guy like Scotty Bowman, who didn't stop coaching that long ago, man, he still missed out on some of the salary. Mike Babcock, whatever, making $6 million a year, whatever the hell he's making, 6.5. What?
Yeah.
I mean, Scotty Bowman never made $1 million a year as a head coach, even when he was coaching those great teams. With the Detroit Red Wings. Son does, man. Son's handling him. He's done pretty well in Chicago as the general manager.
Your blood.
We'll see where that's headed with the Blackhawks, with Stan Bowman. All right, so enjoy this, man. It's a legend. Sit back and just relax and understand no matter what he says, it's a legend speaking here on the Cam and Strick podcast, brought to you by CarShield and CarShield.com. Hey, again, get that protection. You never know when you're going to need it. They always say nature calls, whatever. Something may go down with your car. When you least expect it, your computer may go out, your AC is out, something bad may happen, and it could cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. Your starter could go out like it happened to Cam. Don't let that happen. Mention the promo code CAM, you'll save 10%. 800-857-2481. Again, carshield.com. How about gadgetbuyback.com? Do you have a cracked phone, a cracked tablet? Are you on crack? Whatever it is, dude.
Well, you might have to go somewhere else if you're on crack.
Well, whatever.
But if you have a cracked phone, you might as well be on crack because it's the same kind of thing. It sucks.
And if you have a cracked phone and you're at the bar, you're not getting what?
I'm not. You ain't wheeling. All right. You're not wheeling. You know what I'm talking about. what I'm talking about is looking at you like, I ain't going home with you, son. Little boy, crack phone. Get out of high school, son.
Yeah,
get that phone. A real man over there with a badass phone.
Get it repaired. You can do it while you wait at the store here in Oakville, the home of Pat Maroon, which, by the way, I should give a shout-out to because now all of a sudden he's getting attention from teams around the league.
Yeah, he's going to sign a deal with it.
Can you believe he couldn't get a second year last year? Like, he won a Stanley Cup. Obviously, he had some moments.
Well, you got to prove yourself again. He did.
Isn't that amazing? You always have to prove yourself. So we'll see what the future holds for Pat Maroon. But listen, I hear Tampa Bay wants to bring him back. Obviously, he doesn't make a ton of money, so they've got some cap issues. So maybe that's a smart move for them. But good on Pat Maroon, who could continues to just do well for himself, dude. Once you thought his career was over, he just continues to
find ways.
Find a way.
Good Lord.
877-772-8880. GadgetBuyback.com. Again, their stores in Oakville, the home of Patty Maroon. Bud Light Seltzer, baby.
Seltzer.
They got the variety packs: pineapple, cranberry, grapefruit, and strawberry. You can find those. The original flavor. Strawberry is an original flavor, too, along with lemon, lime. Let's see what else. Black cherry, strawberry, and what else?
What is it called? Mango.
Mango,
I'll tell you
baby.
this right now. I love seeing you guys finding your cool spot, your chill zone. I don't give a shit where it's at. One guy had it in his garage, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck happened to your toenail? He's like, oh, camera. I go, did you block a shot in hockey because it looked black? He goes, no, dude. And he took another picture of it. He's like, I'm enjoying like Bud Light Seltzer in my garage away from my family because this is where I lock myself in. That's what I love. Dude. Doesn't have to be on a lake. I don't give a shit. Like, where's your, like, I'm locking the door and watching hockey and drinking. And so anyway, I look at his toenail and I go, what the fuck is that? You block it? He goes, no, dude, it's a tattoo I got when I was young. I go, show it to me. And he says it's like a camel on his big toe, like some like stripper in like the middle of Missouri somewhere. Oh my God, that's the funniest thing. I love that shit, guys. It's cool. You don't have to have a mansion. Send it to me. Chill zone. Hashtag it. I love it.
100 calories.
Yeah, baby.
Less than a gram of sugar and 5% alcohol. So you can get your mind right with Bud Light Seltzer.
Seltzer.
And Cam's favorite is Mango.
It's Mango.
Unquestionably good. All right, hockeytraining.com. Big day yesterday in the Strickland household because my speed kit came.
Good.
My speed kit came.
Look. You need to take your son, Ty. Find your little daddy-son spot in your goddamn house. You build a new house. You got a new house. It's a lot bigger. You need to find your garage, a section in your basement. You get the hockey training. You set it all up. You put a little net down. You block the windows with pillows. You put tape over it so it hits a pillow. It might be a little dark, and you put extra lights there. The lights are going to go out. Who gives a shit? You and Ty go down there, and for 30, 40 to an hour every single day, have your little happy dad-son time and do little drills and work on shit. And you can work on shit with him. Get your little pucks and look at some hockey training shit, and that's your bonding time.
Yeah,
He's got two sisters.
I need one of these companies to hook me up, though, that can help me create the room the way that you need it. You know what I'm saying?
It's easy. You get a net down there, and you get your little things, and he could do little push-ups and do this and that, and all of a sudden shoot 5 pucks. Do I need to come over and set this up for you?
Might have
I don't have kids, and my dad figured this shit out.
The answer is no, because I've got hockeytrainer.com, dude. The videos are right there, and they're easy to watch, easy to pay attention to, and they know what they're doing. Kevin and Dan flat out hook it up. I got the speed kit. You can work on your skills. You can get yourself in shape.
Well, you
want to all of a sudden get your mind right. You can do a little hockey yoga. There are so many different things you can do with hockeytraining.com. If you're a men's league player, don't sit on the outside looking in, dude. Improve your game.
No one's inviting you.
No, they're not.
They don't want you there unless you're paying double the money so you could take care of the beer afterwards. Yep. If that's the case, then fine. But why do you want to be that guy? Why do you want to be a dink guy that goes out there and you're like, oh, cool, he's here. But again, we all know that. Real quick, back to this could be a little, instead of going to the gym, who the hell wants to take their son to a gym? I get sometimes that's cool, but you could do that at your own house with hockey training, and that could be your bonding time. Say you got 2 sisters at the house, and he's playing dolls all goddamn day. And you're like, no, Ty, it's daddy time. Let's go down the basement. We're shooting pucks. We're hitting the punching bag. And we're doing this. And we're going to do push-ups. And play some music. I don't know. Damn.
Yeah.
My dad figured that out. He had no idea what he was doing.
Well, that's what you do.
Unacceptable.
That's what you do.
If you guys don't do that with your kid, it's unacceptable.
That's what you do. And you just figure it out as you go.
Yeah,
Hockeytraining.com makes it so easy for you.
Damn.
They didn't have that when I was a kid. Most of you listening right now, they didn't have that.
Nothing.
Take advantage of it. Like, this is legit hockey instruction. If you're trying to improve your speed, They can do that. You want to
So
improve
easy.
your stick handling. They can do that. You want to improve your shot. They can then do that. Dude, you want to be a better one-on-one player, a better defender.
It's not as
you
hard
want
as
to
you
be
think.
Stronger.
You think there's so much to it. They're going to show you. It's just a technique and doing the goddamn thing. You could do it in your basement. You could do it outside in your driveway. You could do it in your front yard. You could do it in your goddamn garage. There's honestly no. You could, or go down the park. If you can't find a way to find time with your kid to do this stuff, it is easy, it's cheap, and it works. So that's on you guys, man. And I'm telling you, man, you need that father-son time. I don't have kids, but I did it with my fucking dad, and he was a construction worker from Hillsboro, Missouri. So if he, come on.
All right, hockeytraining.com.
Damn, I get riled up.
Love having them with us here on the Cam and Strick podcast. Also, Victor Hockey. Check out their hats and their hoodies and their T-shirts. Their website, easy to kind of navigate around, victorhockey.com.
Awesome stuff.
Check out their Twitter and their Instagram, @VictorHockeyUSA. Send in some hats for Gretzky. Gretzky wants to get in one of these bad boys. He sees the hat at the golf. What?
Oh, what is that?
What's that? What's that all about?
I'll tell you what's up.
Especially for you people out in the West Coast. Like, he's got the palm tree with the hockey stick coming out.
It just puts
They're
you in a
out of
good
Colorado. You got the pine tree with the hockey with
my
the stick
favorite
coming
state
out.
ever.
Oh, dude, it's
Oh, my
amazing.
God.
It's amazing. So this guy's done an unbelievable job with the designs, with their hats and their T-shirts and their hoodies. Use the promo code Cam and Strick. You're going to save 20%. That's a significant discount right there.
Damn right.
Cam and Strick save 20%. VictorHockey.com, @VictorHockeyUSA on Twitter and Instagram. All right, we got to get to the legend, the Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest coach ever in the history of the NHL is Scotty Bowman. But first, don't forget about Bellman. I thought about Bellman yesterday, by the way. I almost took a picture.
Dude.
Bellman.com in Troy, Missouri. One side of the street, you got the Cadillac Buick GMC. The other side, the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Dude, I'm driving and I see a Bellman Yukon pulling a boat.
How big was a boat?
A big boat.
Really?
Yeah, and
over 30.
It wasn't. It didn't no dualies and all this. You didn't have it.
You don't. Andy,
Dude,
you don't know shit.
There were
Andy,
4
you don't know
wheels
shit.
on it.
Bullshit.
It was 4
You
wheels.
don't know. You don't. No.
It was 4 wheels.
Good
dude.
Lord. How big was the boat?
I think it was like.
How big was the boat?
Probably like 40 feet or
Get
something.
the fuck on.
Well, I don't know how to like.
Dan,
judge
can I
it.
get Dan on here, please?
Oh,
can
yeah.
I get Dan Bellman on here
Yeah,
to set
bring him
your
on.
stupid ass
Bring
straight?
him on. He knows.
You can't. Look, you could have a riverboat, maybe even a pontoon, but if it's over 30 foot and it's deep,
You have to have a dually for that?
Yeah.
What's
No.
the benefit of the dually?
well, if you're a farmer, like you're carrying different things, like you have a big truck, you carry anything. If you have, I mean, there's a lot, dude.
just
You got a lot of acreage,
Just
shit.
stick with the pink Jeep with small
All right,
wheels,
fine.
okay? The 2-door. Just stick with that. Stop trying to talk
make
about a
it-
dually.
I'm just
stick
letting you know,
with your
you're
pink
acting like
Jeep.
this fucking
I'll get my
Yukon
Escalade
has
and I'll pull,
a yacht on the back of it.
I'll pull the
I'm like,
boat.
Go ahead,
I'll
have
pull
those.
the boat.
Go down
Okay?
44 with that,
Right.
Andy. Go down 44 with that. See
Stick
how your
with your pink
transmission
Jeep
feels.
with 2 doors or your Buick Enclave, which you should get
Doesn't
too.
matter. I could get away with that. You have a pink Jeep. We got. You're hurting the brand. Okay, lowered.
Listen, the options are endless with Bellman.com. So again, Dan Bellman, big supporter of the game of hockey. We love
man,
having
big
him on
time.
here with the Cam and Strick podcast. All right, Scotty Bowman, the legend, with us now right here on the Cam and Strick podcast. Hey, Scotty, listen, Cam couldn't believe. He said, "Oh, is he down in Tampa right now?" I said, "No, he's in Buffalo." He goes, "Buffalo? What's he doing in Buffalo?"
Why Buffalo, Scotty?
I've been here for 41 years.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Have you been in the same house?
No, second house.
Okay.
So why pick Buffalo though? I know it's a hockey mecca, and you probably know a lot of people there. You work there, but is that why? Is it beautiful up there?
It's close to Canada. Yeah, it's not beautiful now, but it's not bad. I got another 10 days, and then I moved to Sarasota for 6 months.
Ooh,
There we go.
There it is.
I want to talk
Upstate
about
New
that,
York,
Pat.
baby.
Hey, listen, my whole family's from Buffalo. I could have answered that question, Scotty. It is not beautiful in Buffalo. We know that. But Sarasota, different story. We've had Larry Robinson on with us. One of your former players is also hanging out. He's chilling in Florida as well.
yeah.
So what's your setup down there? Paint the picture for us in terms of where you live in Florida there.
I live on a key. They said a barrier island, but it's not barrier. Siesta Key. It's pretty it's got one of the nicest. It's a peninsula, and it's not far. It's right on the near the mainland. It's an hour, and it takes me an hour. Well, longer now. I used to make it in an hour and 10. I go to the Tampa Lightning games, so I can get there. I used to get there like 10 years ago. I've been down since '05. I could get there pretty easy. Now it's a little more traffic, but I can get back in an hour. So it's pretty easy for me. I go to their home games when I'm there, so I will be there most of the time. But I don't know when the home games are going to be this year, though.
Well, yeah, you might not see. They got a great setup in Tampa too. Like the hotel's right there. You got restaurants. You walk to the rink. It's always warm. But what do you do down in Florida? I mean, are you a fisherman? Do you got a boat? Do you golf? What
I
are you
have a
doing?
friend of mine. No, I have a friend of mine that's a good fisherman. I don't go very much unless family members come down. But I live right near a beach, so I can walk around. It's always pretty nice. Well, it's going to be a little. I go next week. I go in 10 days. I usually go the first week of October, generally because the season would have started by then. But I've been going the same time all the time, and it's nice because I can get around. And of course, I don't know this year without the games to go to. It'll be a lot of nights that I won't be doing much.
Oh my God,
But
Scotty, that actually scares me. Like, what are you gonna do without hockey? Like, you haven't had to experience that your entire life, have you?
No, and there won't be any other leagues either. So it's gonna. I mean, I do a bit of reading, so I have a lot of books to catch up to. So I can spend time with the books. I'm not a big TV person, so except for sports, but I'm not in politics and all that stuff.
Oh, we wanted to.
It's for the best.
We wanted to talk politics, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you lean in your political view?
Hey,
no, I'm just joking.
I'm sure there's like a midget AAA team out there that could just use a head coach right now, Scotty. You should come out of retirement.
Well, I have friends of mine that do coach in Florida. They have their own boys that play. I got one guy is a friend of mine I've known for a long time, and he's from actually his family's from Detroit. So when I was with Detroit, I got to know his father. His father passed away, but yeah, the kids in Florida, they play a little bit of hockey now, but they have to travel so much. I don't know what they're going to do this year, but we do have another team south of me. But I mean, I go to maybe a couple of games a year, but they won't be playing. It's East Coast, Fort Myers. It's called the Everblades.
Oh yeah, wow.
They usually have a decent. The guy that runs the team is an ex college guy, Craig Brush, and he's got a lot of contacts. He always has a good team.
Yeah, I want to say Gary Younger maybe used to be involved with that team. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think so because. I'm not sure who the coach is. A really good up and coming coach. He's a young guy named Brad Arthur, and he's a good coach. But he's still in that league. It's not easy to get. It's probably doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, and I think Gary Younger's team was actually in Orlando.
But that league's so fun to watch, though.
Yeah.
There's still guys fight. It still has a little bit of old school in it in the East Coast there, man.
Yeah.
It's a grind out there.
Yeah. But, Scotty, listen, I want to go way back. I mean, where this whole thing, even before you became Scotty Bowman, when you were Scotty Bowman, like growing up for you, like tell me about your family, like your home life. How did you become so passionate about the game of hockey?
Well, I grew up in a suburb of Montreal back in the 30s and 40s, and of course, growing up in Montreal, everybody thinks they're going to be a player, but I played. In fact, I just got a picture. I played midget when I was 14, and we won the provincial championship. And actually, two of our players played in the NHL. One played a long time played in Montreal and New York. His name was Donnie Marshall. He was a good player, a great junior, but he came up in Montreal he was on the 5 Cup winners, so he's one of the 13 players that stayed and played all 5 years in the 56 to 60. and another teammate of his and ours, Bucky Hollingworth. He didn't play a long time in the NHL. He played with Detroit, and they traded him to Chicago in the mid-'50s, and then he played in the American League for a long time with Hershey. He sadly didn't live much of a life because he got leukemia when he was playing in the American League, and he died just before his 40th birthday. So, but two players from a midget team that made the original six. So I just got the picture. It said we won every game we played that year. 18 of us, 18 games.
You won every. Sometimes you need to lose to kind of like know how to lose, right?
I mean, imagine the kids in those years. 18 games outdoor rinks.
Oh my God! Now they play 18 games a month.
They play 18 games a weekend.
Yeah, but we played every weekend. We played shinny. We played at the rink all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and that's what they did in those. That's how players got better. And in fact, I know a team now in Chicago. I know the guy that runs. He's from. He played in St. Louis. Gino Cavallini.
Yeah, he runs the Mission.
We just saw him.
Gino, yeah, and you know what they're doing now? They're playing like I know the coach of. He used to coach with Gino, but now he's in Rockford. He's assistant coach. I think he was Gino's partner.
Yeah, he was.
He's from Sweden, Anders Sorensen, and he's got. I know people that they're 05s and 06s, and what they're doing now is they're not allowed to practice all the time, but they play a lot of shinny. They take the 05 forwards and they put them with the 06 defensemen, and they drop the puck and they let the kids play. Besides having all their other practices, I think that's a good idea right now. Because they don't know when they're going to play.
The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by CarShield. Nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and right off the bat you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview.
It's kind of the opposite here, though. Like, the guys are practicing, but now they're trying to figure out where they can play. So it's very confusing, and Andy can attest to this because, of course, he still coaches AAA, but you don't know what the rules are now, Andy. It changes every single damn day.
So, but yeah, it does, Scotty. But so you're growing up, you're playing. Was it hard to get ice time? And I mean, how good of a player were you? Who do you credit for teaching you the game?
I played midget when I was 14, and you could play till 16, and I was one of the 3 first-year midgets on the team. It's only 3 of us that played. There's only 3 of us that really were young. Everybody else was in their second year of midget, and I have to tell you a quick story. It was an independent person that sponsored our team, and I lived in the flats in Verdun and Sixplex where I grew up. It was fine, and the sponsor of the team owned an appliance store, and because I had another year midget, we won the championship in March, and in April, my mother used to go into the store. She worked. My dad worked, and my mother worked at the time, and she used to go into the store to buy small appliances, and the gentleman that owned the store gave her a toaster, and he gave her the card for the next year. And she came home one day, and I was still 14. I turned 15 in September, but this would be around the end of maybe May. So she said, "Oh, Mr. Bracegirdle wants you to play, and he wants you to get some players for next year," because I knew some guys from my high school. So anyways, I signed the card to play midget the next year. We were going to be defending champions. And then all of a sudden, maybe within the next month, the Canadians were starting to sponsor teams in the different places around Montreal.
Yeah.
And Sam Pollock, who later became the GM, he was just starting in hockey, and he was only young at the time, in his early 20s. He was he was running a bunch of teams in the city, so he saw somebody he knew in Verdun, an old friend, and he convinced. He said, "Well, Canadians want to come down and sponsor some teams, youth teams." And they wanted to start a chain of teams in my hometown in Verdun because all of us were playing hockey. So all of a sudden, this man came to meet me. He was sort of a part-time scout for Detroit, I think, but then he joined Montreal, just a park guy, and he knew that I had another year midget, and he came to my house, and he said Canadians are going to start sponsoring youth hockey teams. They wanted me to play on their team. And I didn't think anything of it. I said, well, I already signed to play with Norman, the sponsor of our team. And he said, that doesn't matter. He said, no, we don't need releases. So we were naive, and they said, we're going to give you a pair of gloves and a pair of hockey pants, and also a pass to go and watch Canadians play at the Forum. I wasn't even 15 yet, so it sounded pretty good. So I signed the card, and then about 2 weeks later, got a letter from the Quebec Amateur Hockey that I signed 2 certificates to play, and I'd probably have to serve a year suspension. So I didn't know right away. My parents weren't involved very much, so we called this fellow that had me sign the card. His name was Ken Brown, and said, I got this letter now, and he said, well, I know that's wrong. And next thing you know, he must have worked it around. They had a hearing. I went to a hearing, and the convener of the whole league, this guy Kenny Brown picked me up, and I was so young and naive, and I walked over with him the next street over to a man's house to have a hearing, and all the way over, he said, don't be nervous, but he said, they're going to ask you, who do you want to play for? And make sure you say Verdun Canadians, because that's who the guy was running teams. So sure enough, I went to the meeting. The man was very nice. He said, tell me what happened. I said, well, my mom got a toaster from Mr. Bracegirdle, and I signed to play with his team. And then this man came along and said you don't need a release, and that's how I ended up signing. So the guy was so fair. He just said, well, what team do you want to play for? And that was a tough call for me because I'd already recruited some of my friends to play for the Canadians.
Oh, boy.
I said, well, I want to play for the Verdun Canadians. And the bad part of the whole story was that Mr. Bracegirdle, who was the sponsor, his team never won a game the next year, and he was out of hockey. So looking back, I wish I would have never signed, but that happened. And then I got a chance to go junior the next year, so it worked out pretty good. Played for Junior Canadians. It was a sponsor team of Montreal, and I started Junior B and I went up Junior A, and in my second year in the playoffs, I fractured my skull. I got
we want to get into that.
Wait. What? How did that go down?
Well, I was a younger player, and we played a team from Three Rivers. It wasn't in Montreal. It might have been some of the players belonged to Montreal because in those days when you sign C forms, you belong to the NHL team. And Jean-Guy Talbot, who later played with the Blues,
right?
He's the one that hit me over the head with a stick. And
did you ever get him back, Scotty? You got to get him back here.
Oh, no, he was older. He's still. Jean-Guy calls me on my birthday, and he's turning 89 pretty soon.
Wow.
And he calls me. We got him to come to the Blues. He was a good player for us. He played on the 5 Montreal team. Like he got suspended for it for a year, but I started that fall. I was feeling better, and they had a hearing, and I didn't think that he did it to ruin my career. So he he only served a month, and then he played. He was finished junior, so he played minor pro, and Montreal owned his rights. And next thing you know, a couple of years later, he played on the Canadian. He was on the 5 winners, and he was on another. I think he was on another 3 or 4 Cup winners. Well, they won again, and they won again in 60. They won 5 in a row in the 50s. Then they won 64, 60, 65, 66. He was on 8 Stanley Cup winners. And then when the NHL expanded for the West Division, he was a veteran player with Montreal, so they only could keep so many. He got drafted by Minnesota, and he started with the North Stars the first year, and by January, I don't know what they were doing, but they put him on waivers, and we picked him up in St. Louis, and Jean-Guy he could play defense and he could play forward. He was a very similar player. I don't know if you know the player. It's very similar in style to Jim Roberts, because Jim played forward and defense, and you know, I had him in junior. He played defense, and then when he played in the NHL, he moved up to he was the defensive forward, a good one with Montreal. And Talbot was he didn't play much forward with the Canadians, but when we got him with the Blues, he and Jim Roberts were our third pair defense. And then when we had the lead in the third period, we were only allowed to dress 10 forwards, and they played on our checking line in the third. We went from 3 lines to 4 lines in the third period, and that's when we had such a good defensive team. We had Glenn Hall and Jacques Plante in the net. People don't give those guys the credit they deserve, but I don't know if you guys knew, the second year when we had both of them playing goal, alternating, we had 13 shutouts and 22 one-goal games. So we had 35 games out of the 74, I think it was, maybe 76. And the Blues had the lowest goals against because of our goaltending and guys like Talbot and Roberts that could play defense. And you know, we had 157 goals against in 76, I think it was 76 games.
Hey, let's talk about the new Bud Light Seltzer.
Oh, yeah.
It's an easy drinking, hard seltzer that comes in 4 delicious fruit flavors. Black cherry, strawberry, lemon lime, and Cam's favorite, mango.
Oh,
With
mango.
only 100 calories, 5% alcohol, and less than a gram of sugar, you might as well have a few tonight or this weekend. Go to BudLight.com to buy Bud Light Seltzer online. Must be 21 years of age or older. Bud Light Seltzer. Unquestionably good.
Yeah.
Now, back to the interview.
So the moral of the story is,
Play good defense.
You crack somebody over the head and get a month-game suspension, and then you're going to win championships after that?
No, I got cracked over the head.
Yeah,
No, I know. I know that.
How bad were you hurt, though?
Yeah.
Like, I mean...
I tried to play the next year, but players didn't wear helmets.
Yeah.
And I never could.
Why did he do it, though? Why did he hit you over the head? Was he retaliating?
No, it was just... Their team was getting not upset. They were going out of the. I think it was a long series and they were down in the series, and you know, I don't think he meant to. You know, when guys chasing you on a breakaway and trying to hit your arm or something, and you know, missed and hit my head. But we didn't have helmets.
Oh God!
And then the next year, I tried to play with a helmet, but the helmets were not. They weren't. They were only leather, anyways. But
just think if that was on social media.
Oh
if we
my
had
God.
video everywhere,
God.
Scotty Bowman gets hit in the head. That is crazy. Do you think you would have had an NHL career as a player if you didn't get hurt?
That's too subjective because you know, there was only 6 teams. I did score 20 goals in my first regular season, junior. But I mean, how many of our juniors? Maybe only, trying to remember how many played in the NHL. It was because it was a 6-team league. It was so hard for the juniors to crack. But I know 2 of them were the team that came from my same town. Don Marshall, Bucky Hollingworth had a brief career. He played pro a long time, but Don Marshall played in the NHL for over 15 years. But I don't think there was anybody. I'm trying to recall who. Oh yeah, there was another Hall of Fame player, Dickie Moore.
Oh,
Dickie Moore, who also played with the Blues at the end of
Bobby
his
Plager
career.
talks about him
Yeah,
all
he
the
does
time.
all the time.
Well, yeah, Dickie Moore was the best of the. I mean, he was a Hall of Fame player, and
Doug
he
Harvey,
was
all those
another
guys.
one.
Tough,
So
tough,
there was
tough.
there was 3 that made the NHL. So I mean, it's pretty hard when you think about the NHL in those days. I mean, what do you got? 100 players, like maybe not even 20 on a team, because the teams they only had 1 goalie, 5 defensemen, that's 6, and 10 forwards. So they had 16 times 6, 96 players could play in the NHL.
Wow.
So
Do you have a calculator with you,
Yeah,
Scotty?
I know, Scotty. How do you know this
How
stuff?
did you
Good
just
God.
do that fast? 16 times 6?
He's a smart man.
Well, I mean, I knew 16 times 5 was 80, and so I had 16.
Yeah, Andy. I knew that actually.
That's pretty good. Hey, I want to fast forward here
Yeah.
to your time in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
You got
boy.
Mario, you got Yarmer, and obviously you're winning. This is after Montreal, and there's been so much focus on your days in Montreal, and certainly in St. Louis too, when you broke in with the Blues and took them to the finals for 3 straight years. But what about when you got to Pittsburgh and you're dealing with those superstars, a new era? What kind of adjustments did you have to make as a coach then, Scotty?
I didn't have to do a lot, because what happened in Pittsburgh is Craig Patrick, when he was rebuilding his team, he missed the playoffs in 89-90, and he decided to go. And Mario had been in the league now about his 4th or 5th season, and he went out and signed the late Bob Johnson, who was a coach that was a great college coach, and then he went to Calgary. Had a decent career, but they had Edmonton all the time. They couldn't get through Edmonton, and so finally Calgary let him go. And I don't know where Bob went, to the USA Hockey. That's where he went. Yeah, for about 2 or 3 years, and Craig Patrick convinced him to come and rebuild the Penguins. And he had some really, they were on the cusp of having a good team. But between Craig, I was doing television, and Craig had played junior for me, and I'd worked for his dad, is the one that brought me to the St. Louis, Lynn Patrick. So I knew the family, and Craig called me up, and I never wanted to leave. My kids were all in high school, and I had 4 of them, and I really didn't want to leave here. So he said, would you like to come to Pittsburgh and help out with development? So the player personnel. So it sounded really good. I got a chance to get back in the NHL. I didn't have to move my family out of Buffalo. I could go down for the odd meeting, but I didn't really spend a lot of time in Pittsburgh till the playoffs, but Bob turned the team all around. I mean, he took a team that didn't make the playoffs. I haven't heard much about it, 89-90, and then Bob just went in and, they made some really good trades. Craig traded a draft pick, got Joey Mullen, and then made a big trade with Hartford and got Ron Francis and a couple of defensemen and built right at the trade deadline. And Bob was the one. They won the Stanley Cup that year. And then Bob, unfortunately, got sick that summer, got a brain tumor, and they asked me if I would. So I didn't do a lot of coaching the second year when we won, because I was not going to be the coach. Craig asked me to, because we wanted to keep the job. We didn't know much how Bob was doing. I mean, he got sick in August. We're now at training camp, and he said, he didn't want to hire a young coach, because we were hoping that, you're always hoping for, you never know with cancer, that maybe Bob could recover and get the job again. So I became the interim coach, and Bob passed away on Thanksgiving weekend in 1991. And Craig said, well, we were doing okay. I was the interim coach. We weren't doing as well as we could have. So he just said, would you stay on for the rest of the year until we see what happens? And he made another good trade at the deadline, and we started to take off again. Because, when you win the first time, well, the Blues know it's not easy to win that 2 in a row. No. But he made another trade, and that was the one that brought in Shell Samuelson on defense, and Rick Tocchet. Huh. We got Rick Tocchet. We needed a player like that, and Rick came in, and we won another cup because of that. And I stayed one more year before I went to Detroit. The best team we had was the third year.
Really?
We won 18. We won 18 games in a row, and then we got knocked out in the
by the Islanders. Yeah,
yeah.
We had Pierre Turgeon. We talked a lot about that. Hey, we also had Pierre Maguire on the podcast. Speaking of
he was there.
He was your assistant coach. What's your relationship with him? Like, how did he help you out? How was he as an assistant coach?
Well, Pierre, my daughter went to St. Lawrence University, which is upstate New York, as a freshman, and I went to take her there. And I just happened to go into I said, well, I may as well just go in and see the hockey people. That would be about, oh my goodness, it would be about, I wasn't working in the NHL at the time, I don't think. Or yeah, it was. I was with Pittsburgh, so it's got to be about 1990. Yeah, I had just started with Pittsburgh, and then I was talking to the coaches and met Pierre. He was the assistant coach. He used to travel around. In college, the assistant coaches are the recruiters. It's not an easy job. They travel all over Canada and USA looking for the best kids that are going to play college hockey. So I got to know them, and then when I went to Pittsburgh, and Craig was rebuilding the organization, and he said, we need some scouts. So I said, I know a young guy in St. Lawrence. He's assistant coach, and we interviewed him, and the first year that they won the cup, Pierre was a scout, and the job that was open was in Boston. So Craig said, if you want to hire an amateur scout, he's going to have to cover Boston. So Pierre left the school and went down to Boston and coached or scouted the amateurs in Boston, which was a pretty hotbed for colleges and everything else. Mm-hmm. And so that's
there it is.
Hey, we want to know.
Answered, Scotty.
Is that Ferdorov?
Oh. No, it's actually the bank. So I'm just going to let them. I'm going to let the.
We want to hear the message.
That's for my wife. She's. There's a bank that's closing.
Louis Vuitton.
Scotty, you've been approved for your brand new boat on the Key in Florida.
That Center Council. Outdoor bird.
Anyways, we got rid of it. But that's what happened to Pierre. And I took him on the second. When I took over the team after I was interim coach, Craig said, "Do you want to? I thought I could.
Is she talking in French?
Oh
what is
God.
she saying?
Keep this on, Scotty. Keep it going.
I've never heard of automatic recording that sounds like her.
It's from Sarasota, Florida. So, but
you owe $5,400 to Louis Vuitton.
But I tried to get rid of it, and I didn't. But anyways, no. So Pierre Maguire coached my first year of coaching. And then I think when I went to Detroit, I know what happened. When I went to Detroit, they were making a coaching change, and Jim Devilanos was the manager at the time. Mm-hmm. Kenny was just starting, maybe assistant GM, and he said, "Do you want to bring? Would you take one of the coaches? He offered me the chance to bring my two coaches, but." He said, "We have one coach that's already signed. Could we keep him?" I said, "Sure." So it was the best move I made because I was able to bring Barry Smith with me. He had worked for Bob Johnson the first year and myself the second year. And then the coach that was in Detroit working was Dave Lewis. He was the defense coach, and he did we were together for 9 years. Barry and myself and Dave. And Dave was a terrific defense coach. All those defensemen that we had, he could tell, Lidstrom was only in his second year. Unfortunately, the tragedy with
Constantine.
Well, we want to get into that real quick, though. The Russian Five.
Cam and Strick podcast here for our boy Dan Bellman with Bellman.com.
Yeah, baby.
You need some new wheels? Why not get a Cadillac, a Buick, a GMC? Head out to Troy today And again, don't forget about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street.
No doubt.
Right there in Troy, Missouri. Visit them online. Check out their new selection, the pre-owned selection, the best service you will find anywhere in the country. Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
Now back to the interview.
And we know, Lou brought some guys over. They're getting a little bit older. You assembled this team in '95, and you lose to the Devils, and you guys you broke your own record that year with wins and things like that. But how did you know that would work, or did you know when you brought these Russians in, you put them all together? Like, describe how you went through that process.
Well, when I got to Detroit, Vladimir Konstantinov was in his second year. Sergei Fedorov, I think, was in his third year, and they had a young player, Slava Kozlov. He had played in the American League. He was coming into the NHL, so we had the three of them, but we had a lot of offensive players. What happened was we had so many right wingers. We had Dino Ciccarelli, we had Ray Shepard. We had a lot of good offensive guys, and we had young guys coming on. Marty Lapointe was a kid that was coming from the farm team. We had Tim Taylor. We had a lot of young players coming in, and too many of the same kind. And we got knocked out the first year. We got knocked out by Igor Larionov. He didn't have a Russian five, but he had one other with. He had Sergei Makarov. They're playing in San Jose, and he had a guy named Sandis Ozelinch, but he was not from Russia, but I think he was from like Belarus or one of those countries. And then they had a Swedish guy, Johan Yarpenlof, and they had another American defenseman, Jeff Norton.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you,
10 and 2,
baby.
10 and 2, Jeff Norton. Trevor Linden hit him through the boards. Go ahead.
Well, what happened is Igor, like, he's such a brainy kind of player. He played the Russian system with those five guys, beat us. They knocked us out of the playoffs. And then the next year, San Jose was they were a good team, but they nearly, I think they also beat Calgary. And then, or maybe they didn't. They had nearly two ups. They just lost to Calgary in 7 games. Kevin Constantine, what's his name?
Konstantinov.
Yeah.
Constantine.
Kevin Constantine.
His brother in
I
Russia
got it,
is
Andy. Goddamn it.
Konstantinov.
He was a good defensive coach, very good. I don't know where he is now, but he didn't stay long in San Jose. But anyway, San Jose were looking for wingers, so it was a good fit. The first guy we got was Igor, and he had knocked us out. That was an easy trade. It wasn't easy because Ray Shepard was a 30-goal man, but we had a lot of goal scorers. We didn't have a center ice wasn't that strong, so Igor came first, and then he kept saying to me, like, why don't you try to we needed defense depth 1 year. And I remember he wasn't playing. Slava Fetisov was sitting in the stands with New Jersey. And I always had a good rapport with Lou Lamoriello. When I was in Buffalo, Lou Lamoriello was in Providence.
Did he ever try to hire you? Did he ever try to hire you?
No, but you know what he did, Lou? When he was coaching and athletic director in Providence, when a player graduated or was going to turn pro, Lou always did his first contract, and we had a really good prospect with Buffalo. I look back, he should have been an NHL player. His name was Gates Orlando, and I mean, I don't know why we didn't put him on our NHL team, but he played in Rochester, and we had to sign Gates, and I did it with Lou. So I always had a good relationship with him, and I phoned him one day and I said, just before the trade deadline, I said, Lou, we're really short on defense, and you got a guy that's sitting in the stands. And he really liked Slava Fetisov, but he had a terrific team anyway. So I said, could we get him? And he was 37, and we gave I think we gave a 3rd or 4th round pick for him. But
whatever.
People in Detroit thought we were nuts. I was nuts, but I said, no, we need depth and we need a defenseman. And he came in, and that's how the Russian five worked.
Wow.
Igor and Slava Fetisov being on the original Russian 5 and being the veterans, they took the other ones under their wing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know how they were playing, and I used to kid a lot. Slava was always a student of the game, and he'd talk to me a lot, and he'd say, "What, how we doing? How we doing?" I said, "As far as I'm concerned, you're doing great, and whatever you're doing, keep doing it." I had nothing. I didn't know how they were playing, and it was because it was a new concept in the NHL. The puck possession game they played. But I mean, I stood there and watched these guys, and I thought they were so good. I didn't want to use them all the time because I always was worried that somebody was going to know how to defend them. So I started to use them in the playoffs. But they were one of a kind. I don't know if somebody could ever duplicate what they were. I couldn't believe what they were doing. I'd be standing behind the bench. Next thing you know, the right defenseman's going on a breakaway.
I know. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I remember one time you came in with Detroit, and I asked you a question. I was a young reporter, a little bit nervous, but I said, you had so many superstars. I said, how do you decide who plays with who? And you're like, well, I got a right winger, a left winger, a center, and 2 defensemen. But you had so many star players, not just in Detroit, but before that in Pittsburgh and Montreal and whatever. Like, who was the most difficult star player for you to control, Scotty, for you to coach?
They weren't. The problem when you have all those kind of players is, and some of them, like Sergei Fedorov, was such a great player, like physically strong. He's a lot bigger than people give him credit for. He was strong physically, typical Russian, great skater, so good that he could even play defense. That's how good he was. But when you had had Yzerman, we had Larionov, and we had Chris Draper, and you can see Sergei was always like, that was the beginning when they used to bring the sheets for the time on ice. And of course, Sergei's father was a coach. He was a coach in Russia, and he brought his family, his father and his brother came over, and, they lived in Detroit, and his father used to be upset that Sergei sometimes wouldn't play 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Sergei never, and then it would spill over, and I'm trying to get him ice time, and that's the toughest part when you have players like that, is there's only one puck and there's a clock, So then what happened with Sergei, though, we lost 3 defensemen one year for maybe about 5-6 weeks, and I all of a sudden I asked him, I said, Sergei, I know you want to play more. I said, I think you can really go on defense, and I can get you into the 24, 25 minute. I said, there's Nick Lidstrom, but you could go in. I know how you can skate backwards. You can play defensively. He always had a defensive mind. For most Russians, as you know, they're so good offensively. That's they play defense the way they have the puck. They don't have to defend as much because they have the puck a lot. Oh, yeah. So I convinced him to try defense. Oh my goodness, he played for maybe over a month. I'm telling you, he could have been like an all-star on defense. That's how good he was.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, he could.
What about when you asked Holly to play defense? What did Holly say when you said, Brett, I need you to play defense?
No, I didn't do. I put Brett on penalty kill.
Yeah.
And he had such a high IQ. Didn't take him long to figure out how to kill penalties. And we used him. He scored some big goals. I mean, we got the only year I had Brett, we got behind. We got, you have good teams, and there's always a little bit of disaster. We lost the first 2 games to Vancouver in that big year in 2002, and we went into Vancouver. That's not an easy place to play, and they had a good team too, and they had the Sedins, and they were a solid team. They had a good power play, and Hull killed some. He scored a big short-handed goal in Vancouver to get us didn't win. Got a hat trick, I think, one night in that playoff series. But he was he could. I mean, he didn't have to kill penalties because we had enough other guys, but he could kill penalties if he had to because he knew how to play it.
He just didn't want to serve them.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? You had such a strong presence, so much success. Like, did you butt heads ever with any managers, anything like that? Like, or did everyone just kind of let you do your thing because you came with such credibility?
No, I think sometimes there's always people that you know better than others, and there's some that you don't. You don't. I mean, you get to know them, but you don't maybe make trades with them and things like that. But when it's all said and done, it doesn't matter. Even Cam knows as a player, you have guys that you play and you don't like any part of their game, and after you finish playing, it's like anything else. You respect. It's like the guys that are playing now. I mean, I've seen a lot of Stanley Cup finals, but I don't think you've seen. I mean, there's no fans in the rink. I've never seen it so physical.
Oh, they're killing each other.
I know.
They're killing each other.
I know. It's crazy.
No, I mean they're trying to win, but so you got to bury the hatchet and you got to figure it out. You got to move on. But yeah, you have disagreements, but there's always players that you have to deal with, and I don't know. I always try to say, well, this is the way I'd like to have you do it, and if you don't do it, I mean, then we have to move on. I mean, that's about what it is. And so, but no, I was very fortunate to be with teams that had good players and started. Actually, the biggest break I got was when I went to St. Louis and we got Glenn Hall as the goalie. And then we drafted some guys that had been on winning teams. We could keep the puck out of our net. And we couldn't do it against in the finals because those teams were a lot better.
Right.
But when you can keep the puck out of your own net, and I learned about how important it was. Then I went to Montreal, and then you have the different kind of players, and you have to find ice time for the stars. And St. Louis was easy. We didn't have. We had the biggest star was Red Berenson. I mean, we got really lucky. The big thing with the Blues, we made the trade in the first 2 months. We got Barclay Plager and Red Berenson from the Rangers. Red wasn't even playing, and Barclay was in Buffalo. But I knew Barclay because I had him in junior, and I knew how much he never had a player that hated to lose like he did. And we had we traded a player the Rangers wanted. I mean, he ended up to be a useful player for him, Ron Stewart. He was our leading scorer when we traded him. It sounds like now that it was an easy trade, but Red was the one. He was the best player in the West Division for some time. But we had a team that played good defense, and that taught me as a coach how you can win a lot of games, but you got to put the puck in the net too. And then I got to Montreal, and we had all these good draft picks that were hotshot offensive players. So you get to know both sides of the game. You can't just be offense and you can't just be defense, and that was kind of what it was taught to me,
Yeah, well, that's what Lou said to me, Cam. You can stop being all offense all the time. I'm kidding on that.
Andy Strickland and Cam Jansen here for you for GadgetBuyback.com. Yeah. Gadget Lab, they got a store here locally if you're in St. Louis, 5541 Telegraph Road. Here's the deal. You got an old phone, maybe a cracked tablet. Maybe it's perfect, but it's a little bit older. Turn it in right now. www.gadgetbuyback.com. Upgrade your devices, phones, computers, watches.
Anything.
Doesn't have to be Apple either.
No.
Get those tablets turned in. Again, www.gadgetbuyback.com. 877-772-8880. Now back to the interview.
Yeah. But here's the deal. You have these teams in the early 70s, right? And all of a sudden, this Philadelphia Flyers team comes along. They're a new team, and they win 2 Stanley Cups in a row. I mean, do you give that organization a ton of credit to figure it out that quick to be able to win back-to-back?
Yeah, I don't recall it. Ed Snyder always said the first 2 years, the Blues, well, we did have Noel Picard. We had Bob and Barclay Plager. I don't think we had any forwards, really, that would fit that bill, but he claims that we ran roughshod over the Flyers in 68 playoffs and then 69, and he said we'll never have another team that are going to get beat up. So they if you look at it, they're an amazing accomplishment. They started in 1967 and they won the Stanley Cup in 1964 and 1965. It's an amazing, and don't forget, the West Division didn't get very much. I mean, when I say not very much, the NHL teams, the 6 original, they kept 11 players.
Yeah.
And they had a white ways to hide some young ones. So the West Division each team got 20 players, and fend for yourself. But with Montreal, yeah, we had to get some guys though. I remember one time we went into Philadelphia in preseason, and we had 3 or 4 guys that were in our system. I don't know who got them, but they were really tough guys. And we had a brawl in Philadelphia, maybe around 73 or 74, a preseason game, and it was just mayhem on ice. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, for some reason, we could always play with Philadelphia, because even when we didn't keep all those kind of players, we could play our game, and they had to play. They didn't play their game as much. They were a tough team. I mean,
What was your per diem back then, Scotty?
In St. Louis, it was $6 or $8 a day, but wow. I don't know. In the 70s, it went up a little bit, probably in the 30s. I don't know.
What was the most you made as a coach? How high did your salary get as a coach compared to what these guys are making now? They're making $4 or $5 million, even more than that. Some of these guys.
I made it up to 900 in the Blues, and I didn't want to take $1 million. I didn't think it was right, so they wanted me, and not the Blues. I'm sorry, the Red Wings.
Wow.
I mean, you coach so many, different decades. You've been part of hockey for so long. Where do you think the game is now? I mean, what era do you think the best era is?
Well, I hope the best players, and you see them, that even though they're making millions, but they play as hard. And it's the same thing when I learned that in Montreal. I got there as a bounce back from St. Louis. I was only going there for a year. They said, come here. They paid me $30,000 the first year. And even when we won all the cups, every year I got the same raise, $10,000. So I went from 30 all the way up to 90. And every year I didn't care. But when you're playing or you're doing well with teams, I don't think the money really motivates you to do this or do that. What are you going to do with it anyways? So as long as you have enough.
I'll tell you.
I admire the players they make a lot of money, but there's some that's going to fall through the cracks. It's not going to help them. But when they get on the ice, they got to play. They got to perform. Yeah. You got to perform.
Patty Kane would look great in the Red Wings uniform, by the way. Back in your day, playing with your group there in Detroit. But I want to talk about your son, though, man. He's been the GM there in Chicago. Obviously, he's had some success there. Winning Stanley Cups and whatnot. A little bit of a different time. It seems like I don't know if they're in transition or what they are. I mean, they just had a good showing there. Inside the bubble by winning a play-in round and getting into the playoffs.
Probably when you look around now, the window, it is true that your window of opportunity, when you think about it, Boston lasted longer. I mean, they're still not there. Maybe they were going to rebuild, but when you look at the Detroit and you look at Los Angeles, it's a long way back. It's a long way back when you. And in fact, I sent a text to a guy last night because he's a big Lightning fan, and I sent him a text. I think I can find it here. And I said, it was pretty funny. I just said, you'll like what I said to him. I said, Tampa has too much offense. This is last night. Their top guys all scored. Kucherov, $9.5 million. Stamkos 8.5 because he had scored a goal. Mm-hmm. I said Hedman 7.9, 6.7. Throw in Vasilevsky next year. He's going to make 9.5. 5 players make $42 million, but they're winning. I said that's more than half the salary cap of the team. Mm-hmm. But Toronto's only got 4 that make 40. But no, I mean you got to pay the guys. You got to keep them. But Tampa's not those 5 guys. There's not a lot of age in there. Like Kucherov, Stamkos has got injuries. I don't know Hedman. Hedman got drafted after Stamkos because Stamkos was drafted number 1, and then Hedman was drafted the year that he got drafted. Tavares went 1 and Hedman went 2. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing, though, when you think about Tampa. Kucherov, was he player number 50 or 60? Point was player number 80-something.
I know.
Oh,
I mean, whoever got – I don't know who got all these players. Steve Yzerman was the manager. He had a guy – I think he's still with them, Al Murray. Al Murray. He's a scout. He was a scout for Team Canada, like with the juniors, and then he went with Tampa. But boy, when you can pick off players, the Blues have done a good job too. You know, when you think about the trades and late, like you got to. I don't think you can just wait around and pick first and second and say now we have a team. You can't do it. You know, and it's so hard to stay up. So the Hawks are hoping. I mean, I guess it will depend on. It'll depend heavily on Kirby Dach. Like he had a decent year for a kid, but you know, can they get to the next level? Because you know that's what you need to do. I mean, you know, you need to get those players that are young and they have to make the next. They have to keep getting better till they're in the top echelon.
Yeah,
so,
I like that Kirby Dach though, man. I mean, he's got great personality.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a little bit loud too. I mean, you listen to him. I kind of like the swagger that he brings. Before we let you go though, you've won all these Stanley Cups. Like, where do you have all your rings?
Yes.
Do you look at them? I mean, do you
my,
reflect on your career at all, Scotty, man, just in terms of what you've accomplished?
Well, I got the miniature cups or something because everybody's name gets on the miniature cup, which is nice to have. And the only thing I could tell people, when you get the miniature cups, make sure you keep them enclosed because my ones from the Montreal days in the 70s, they tarnish and they get a brown hue about them unless you keep them in a place where the air doesn't get at them, you know. But I guess you can get them. But you know, I've tried to get them to a friend of mine's a jeweler here, and he can't clean them. You have to go back and send them to the original manufacturer in Montreal. But my rings I keep in a safety deposit. You know, I like the early ones are not huge and big, but the new ones now, the ones that win now, it started with even Detroit. You can hardly wear them. They're so, you know, they're pretty big, you know. And but I mean I don't know what to do with them. I mean I'm eventually going to probably. But you know, your family is they're proud of them, but they don't want to, you know, they don't want to wear them, you know.
Well, we'll wear them for you if you want, Scotty. I mean, we'll present it around St. Louis. It's not that big.
I wear it around my neck,
and not to mention the cups that have that little, would you say, a brown hue to them. That means it's tough. That means it looks tough on there. So it's a little bit of a difference. I'd keep that up. Well, man. Don't clean that.
You don't see the names as much, but no, Glenn Hall, he has a lot of hardware and software and everything else, but he had his family of 4 pick and choose certain ones, and he told them take them with you or leave them with me, but he's already designated who gets what. It's probably a good idea, but Glenn is now 89, doing well out in Stony Plains, Alberta, and he's just a wonderful man. And when people talk about the Blues, I said the most fortunate thing that ever happened to St. Louis Blue organization was the day that Chicago didn't protect them and the Blues picked them up, because, you know, he single-handedly, for a goalie, I can tell you how great he was, put us into the Stanley Cup final the first year. Hey, what a goalie.
I know. Yeah. Before I let you go, though, I always wanted to know, first off, did Canada ever try to say, hey, we want you to coach one of the Olympic teams? Because I know, you know, when the NHL players started going, you know, you weren't, you know, in the prime of your coaching career. But I'm curious if they ever tried to grab you for one of those tournaments. And was there ever a team, Scotty, that you almost went to work for, that a team said, hey, we want you to come be the coach, and you really thought hard about it?
The closest I came was when I left Montreal. I had talked to Toronto. I knew I was leaving Montreal. We just wanted to change. And I did talk to Toronto, but that didn't go far. And I had a real serious place to go in Washington. Abe Poland was the owner, and I still have the offer sheet. I'm pretty proud of the offer sheet. Not proud that I maybe didn't do it, but they offered me 10% of the Washington Capitals, but I didn't have enough money in case but that was back in '79, and don't forget, I didn't have any money at that time, and if I would have taken it, I don't know if I could have paid any of the deficits. So it might have been an offer that I could have refused, but no, that was the closest I came, but I wanted to get closer to Canada. So I figured if I wasn't going to, because I knew Canada, the hockey was important, and I went to Buffalo because I figured it's very close to Ontario and Toronto. You know, you could look for players, and unfortunately, it's the one place that I didn't do a job for, but you know, there was reasons about it. I didn't know at the time, but you know, I do feel good though, at least in Buffalo, with Dave Andrechuk and Phil Housley. They're two players that made the Hall of Fame, and I happened to be the GM when the scouts wanted to draft them, so I did feel good about that.
What about Canada and the Olympics? Did they ever ask you to coach the Olympic team?
I think in '72 I was just going to Montreal, and no, I never no. And then the two Olympics later, no, I wasn't coaching at that time because you know when they started going to the Olympics,
yeah.
It was the first one was in Vancouver. That was in what year would that have been? It wasn't.
Or was it in Torino or Nagano? I'm trying to think when the NHL.
Oh no, you're right. It was even. Yeah, I was out of coaching by then. Yeah. It was in. You're right. It was in. I think it was in. When was Salt Lake City?
Salt Lake City was 2002.
Oh,
and then so it was either Torino or Nagano, which Nagano was 98,
Japan,
right? So.
Yeah.
It might have been, I don't know if it was before or after that, but I knew even if you weren't coaching, Scotty, we still would have hired you, man.
Yeah. We're gonna hire you on the podcast, Scotty. Who you kidding?
Hey, this is great stuff. You've got the big Zoom call coming up. Have you figured out how to use the Zoom, Scotty?
I only can use if you send me a link.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's how we do it too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
Hey,
I got to get going because I got to get on my call. That's right.
I know.
Thanks, Scotty. You're the man. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good luck. Thank you.
Appreciate
See
the
you,
time,
Scotty.
Scotty.
Right on.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Cam.
That was Scotty Bowman. Listen, a little bit of a different interview, man. I mean, we're talking about a guy who is a true legend. I mean, who's leaving, a serious legacy.
Oh, God.
Behind.
Yeah, he was down the
Like, they need to name, like, a trophy after him or something.
They will.
You know?
They will.
So, again, man, and he's sharp, dude.
Wow.
He's still with it.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think how old my dad is now, and I'm like, God, I hope my dad's with it at that age.
Mm-hmm.
I just pray.
Why do you think he is? Do you think is there anything to it?
Takes care of himself, Andy. Like, he doesn't seem like a drinker. Doesn't seem like he smokes. Doesn't think he's like fucking doing rails every single night. Like, you're healthy. He's a lot of people looking after him. Yeah, he's just living. He's just reading.
But it's amazing though that he's
and he's lucky.
that his memory is where it's at,
and probably luck has something to do with that too. You take care of yourself and you don't get dementia. I don't know. I am a doctor, Andy, as you know, so maybe I could like look at him and diagnose. I don't fucking know.
I can't wait to have Sergei Fedorov with us, though, man. Just to how about Fedorov, dude? We need you to play D.
Okay,
no problem.
Okay,
probably could have won the Norris.
Probably would have scored 40 goals too.
I know.
Jeez Louise.
I know. I mean, at his best, dude. Certainly one of the top players I've ever seen in my life.
He was sexy, man. Like, especially when he had a Nike gear going, he had a long hair, his helmet would fly off like Guy Lafleur, and he scored 2
White
on 1.
skates.
Like Kornikova, fucking drama.
I feel like they used to market players better back then.
Is that weird? Like, I feel like that too. Like Nike commercials.
Even Matt Sundin was all over Nike commercials.
God, they were everywhere on ESPN and shit like that. And you're like, fuck, it's like, you know, you're forced to see these guys. Now you have to look for them. Do you even
see McDavid anywhere?
In Canada.
In Canada,
I don't see his shit anywhere, dude.
No,
you're not on ESPN.
Not here in the States.
You're not on ESPN.
No.
Like, that's a big deal. So you have to buy the package to see him. So it's not forced in your face in the U.S. And I do think that's a problem. I mean, I do.
Yeah. Well, it's always been a problem.
And those fuckboys at ESPN don't give a shit. They'll talk WNBA. Nothing wrong with that. But they'll talk WNBA before they talk hockey. Like, they don't. Max Kellerman, all those fucks. Like, they don't give a shit about hockey. And you're like, okay, like, whatever. Yeah. And they'll even admit, like, we don't give a fuck about hockey because no one watches it.
Yeah, but it sounds like that could change. It sounds like ESPN is going to be part of the next TV
they
contract.
They talk about, again, shit that's on that, I don't know, whatever.
Well, whatever, man. I mean, it is what it is. People, listen, they're a big-time NBA rights holder. What are they going to ignore the NBA? Of course they're going to talk about the NBA. And all the people that are on TV talking, football, like, they don't give a shit about the NHL. They just want to talk about the NBA anyway.
Exactly. No, I know. But you need to be forcing people's faces, man.
Do you watch the NBA ever?
Hell no.
Really?
Fuck.
Are you that anti-NBA?
I'm not anti anything. I never got into it. Mm-hmm. Why would I get into the NBA? The only reason I got into the Blues is because of the Blues. The only reason I got into hockey is because of the Blues. Like, why would I get into the NBA?
And there's never been an NBA team here.
At least, I like Jordan.
At least in your lifetime there has.
No.
Or mine.
I'm not a basketball player, so one sport I didn't play. The one sport I didn't really play. The one major sport, honestly. And I'm, like, not into it. Like, I don't give a fuck about it. It's not that fun. Jordan was cool. Rodman was awesome. But now I'm like, college basketball, I don't give a shit.
What do you think of LeBron James?
He's the best athlete in the world besides Aaron Donald, I think.
Oh, wow.
That's a hot take right there.
It is, man.
I think Aaron Donald might be the best fucking athlete in the world. He's 330. He could jump.
And he
could put you. He'd throw you down. He could do anything. But if LeBron James was a tight end, he'd be better than Gronk. So that's what I think. I think he's the best athlete in the world. Is he nerdy compared to Jordan? Fucking A. Taco Tuesday, yeah. Like, okay. Jordan was like fucking smoking cigars. Like, I'm gambling. I'm a gambling motherfucker. Like, I thought that he was cool as shit.
Yeah, he's now. Like, and Derek Jeter was cool.
Derek Jeter was cool. He's banging dimes everywhere, hot dimes, like superstar dimes. And like, holy shit, like shit that you don't even want to deal with because they're probably like so high maintenance. But when you're Derek Jeter, you're like, fuck, I'm the man. But LeBronny, and he talks about Bronny, and then Bronny will smoke a doobie and then have to delete it. You know.
What do you mean they have to delete it? What do you mean?
Delete the Instagram account. He's smoking a doobie.
Who? Oh, his kid?
Bronny. Little Bronny dad. Bronny. Fuck.
Bronny. Is that his real name? Like his full name? Or they just call him that?
Dude, he's the best athlete in the world. Don't get me wrong.
No, he is.
But on the other hand, he's nerdy.
But you think he's a nerd?
Goddamn right. Compared to Jordan,
well,
compared to like all those old school cats, man. Those guys are fucking badass, dude. Gambling. Taco Tuesday.
All those dudes were cool,
you think
man.
Jordan would do that
and
shit?
The hockey players were cooler back then too, man.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, in the 90s.
Hell yeah.
These guys were so cool.
So cool, man.
And not to say they aren't now. It's just different, man. Society used to be a little bit cooler than what it is right now. But I don't want to sound like an old guy.
No, I don't.
I mean, I like the young kids too,
and
man.
You know what?
Cool
Things have changed, and they've changed for the best too, in ways. Don't get me wrong, and they have. But it's just the old school mentality. I'll never be able to get away from it, man. Yeah. And not that I always want to be old school as shit. Like, no, like I adapt to shit. But on the other hand, it's like, if you're going to ask me the cool factor of things, I'm like, man, like LeBronny.
Taco Tuesday.
It's Taco Tuesday. Okay. Yeah. Jordan's like, what the fuck? I'm fucking drinking scotch and gambling in fucking Vegas.
Yeah, baby. All right, listen. That was Scotty Bowman, man. Just a treat, dude. It's an honor to have Scotty Bowman.
Goddamn right, dude.
With us
I was a little
on
nervous about that. I like that, man.
You're okay.
Thank you.
You're okay, man.
No, fucking thank you.
No, you're like.
No,
I'm saying like you weren't nervous.
Thank
like
you.
You're fine.
Well, you were okay the other day when you fucking played hockey when I invited you out.
Dude,
you're
I'm
lucky
not
I
saying
did.
that.
I'm just saying
you weren't nervous.
I don't talk to these guys like you do on a regular basis. So I'm like, I feel good after talking to some of these cats, and they're like, hey, Cam. I'm like, hey, man, you mentioned my name. I'm like, I like you now.
Yeah, you like that.
Yeah, I do.
When they say your name.
Say my name. Hi, Cam. Like, hey, dude, what's up? You Hall of Famer, you?
Cam is Strick Podcast, brought to you by CarShield. Again, visit their website, carshield.com. Mention the promo code CAM. You're going to save 10%. 800-857-2481. Again, construct your...
Jesus. Hey, Bronny, you smoking that doobie? I shouldn't talk like that because I don't want people thinking...
No, I know. Customize your plan. It doesn't have to be longer than you don't want it. Just customize it. It's that simple with CarShield. Something may go down that you're not expecting.
Yeah.
Don't be stuck with the bill. 800-857-2481. They take all the heat, all the pressure off of you. That's what you want. Again, the promo code is CAM. It'll save you 10%. 800-857-2481. CarShield.com. How about GadgetBuyback.com? You got a cracked phone, cracked tablet, cracked watch, whatever it is. They'll fix it for you. If you're a business owner, don't have your employees and all your clients and everybody using old stuff, man. You got to
annoying
upgrade it so you're making the most money so your company's running efficiently. 877-772-8880, gadgetbuyback.com. Bud Light Seltzer, baby. Black cherry, strawberry, lemon lime, and mango.
Mango. Listen, I love it. Keep tagging. I want to see your safe zone, your cool zone, your chill zone. I don't give a shit. Show me. I don't care if it's in your garage with a stupid tattoo on your toe. That
camel tattoo.
Like, why'd you get that, son?
That's a camel toe, dude. You get it?
Why'd you
get it?
That's just.
You didn't even get it.
It is so funny because he laughed about it, and it's funny, man. We've all made mistakes. I love that. I love how you could chirp yourself, dude. You got to be self-deprecating. Keep doing it. Love you guys.
Mango.
How
about hockeytraining.com? Get yourself faster. Get a speed kit.
Hang out with your son.
Get a speed kit.
Hang out with your son and do hockey training in your garage so you and your son can bond. How's that? How about you find a way and like scoot stuff around, take all your stupid furniture out of your garage like a fucking hillbilly anyway, throw the shit away, and make a little spot for you and your son so you could bond together.
People have furniture inside their garages.
Maybe you got 3 sisters, or maybe you got whatever, and you and your son need to have a little father-son time where you're working on your shit, and you'll do a couple push-ups, and you'll listen to some heavy metal in the garage, and that's your bonding time. And you have hockey training right there, and you can look on your computer, and it's so easy, and just do the shit with your kid. And you'll get obsessed with it. Then you go on a little bike ride with them, and you talk, and that's your bond. Then you go take them for a burger. Like, what the fuck? I gotta explain this shit to you guys? I go to Gold's Gym, son. Okay. Get the fuck on. Hang out with your kid on a Sunday or whatever.
And do hockeytraining.com.
Yes. Put it on your computer. It's the easiest thing in the world.
And watch the video.
There's just no excuse.
No.
There's none. Will I get what?
Kevin's got some good hands.
Get
so
on.
does Dan. Dan's a great trainer. I feel good. I feel better. I've got more energy. I sleep better.
No one cares about you. How's Ty doing? Seriously. How's Ty doing?
He's coming along, although his teacher sucked this past weekend.
Well,
his skating
why
coach.
can't you be his teacher then?
Well, I can be.
Why can't you be his teacher then?
Because I wanted to pass it along.
I know what you're saying because you don't want to do too much,
No.
but have your little
I'll
Sunday
be his
for
coach.
him. I know.
The skating part, I'll let somebody else do
Let
it.
them do that then. You don't have to contradict what they say. Don't do that because you're going to confuse them. Tell him to take what he needs out of that, but you also be a coach too with hockey training.
Let's go.
God. I might have to have kids now.
Again, if you want a pump-up speech,
holy
let us
macaroni.
know.
I'll
Cam
give you
will give
one.
your kid a pump-up speech.
I know, and I won't cuss. I swear I won't, but
No.
maybe I will.
You might.
Well, it depends how old they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Do I need
That's
to really
true.
get at them? Like,
Again, men's league players, though,
damn.
take
No.
our advice on this.
Don't be embarrassing, please. Don't be here. I'm here, everyone. Oh, cool. Oh, the one that takes 3-minute shifts and doesn't even touch the puck. Oh, cool. That like turns around and takes slap shots and hits people in the face. Yay, you're here. Yay. The fuck on.
Yeah. All right.
It's just laziness.
Hockeytraining.com.
It's just laziness,
Check
man.
it out and let them improve your overall game. You want to be a better skater, better stick handler, have better vision, have better sense. They can help out with your hockey sense and make hockey more enjoyable for you. So check out hockeytraining.com. Bellman and Bellman.com. Again, located over there in Troy, Missouri. You got Cadillac, Buick, GMC on one side of the street, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. You can get your pink Jeep with 2 doors and small wheels. I'm looking at the Escalade.
Dude,
I'm looking at a Yukon.
People still think I'm a shit kicker.
Well, the options are amazing, and they're unlimited. And check out the pre-owned selection, too. Don't just be worrying about a new car. Check out the pre-owned selection. And at Bellman.com, you're not going to be messing with some salespeople.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. Your wife can go there and not, you know. I don't want to do it every time, but on the other hand, I think people could relate to what I'm talking about when your wife goes to try to buy a car, and here they come. Ooh, baby, yeah, they see my truck over there.
Are you Cam Jansen's wife?
That motherfucker, he ain't even that fucking tough. He ain't that fucking tough.
I won state in wrestling.
I beat his ass back in high school. No, you didn't. You fucking psycho.
I was first team all conference in wrestling.
No, you weren't, psycho. You were doing meth in the fucking bathroom, nutbag. Quit fucking staring at me. Fucking weirdos. That doesn't happen at Bellman. It don't happen at Bellman. It just doesn't. And that's such a nice thing when your wife can go like look at cars and feel safe and like not like fucking sexually harassed. Get on with yourself.
Or if your car needs to be serviced.
Or that too.
Yes.
Or that too.
You can go in
I
there.
mean, or that too.
Whatever you need to do. You just go there, you feel safe, and you don't worry about your wife either.
God.
Bellman.com.
Nightmare.
BEHLMANN.com. Victor Hockey, check out their hats. Use that promo code Cam and Strick. You'll save 20%. And check out their hoodies too, man. Super nice material, lightweight, man. They fit nice. They're nice and snug. And you can get different sizes. If you're a big person, whatever, then
which you're not.
You can get a bigger one too. You can get the size that you need.
Yep.
But again, they're hats, dude. The hats are sick.
They are sick.
And they're
great unique.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like them a lot, man.
Yep.
I absolutely do. Wear them everywhere.
Adam did a great job.
We got them on our video that we're posting on Wednesday, too.
Got some good stuff here
Yeah.
with Victor Hockey. Check out their Instagram at Victor Hockey USA. Same for the Twitter and their website, man. Just navigate that site, victorhockey.com. Also, Cope24. Cope24.com. Big event coming up very soon.
Yeah.
Renee, we love you, Renee. Big shout out to her.
She's happy birthday, Renee. She turned 24 the other day.
Is that it?
She looks like she's 24, and that's all that matters.
Sick flow, too.
She's the best of the best.
Yes, she is.
I feel great when I talk to her. Like, she stares into me, and she's like, hey, here, Cam, how about try this? I'm like, I'm a better person now. I'm a better person after just talking to you for 5 minutes.
Cope24.com.
I love that woman.
Check that out. And again, we'll tell you about the event coming up as we get closer with Cope24. All right, this has been episode number 78. Scotty Bowman, the legend, with us on the Cam and Strick podcast.